Good afternoon and happy Monday, September 29th, and welcome to our Monday YouTube class. So unfortunately, most of us instructors are on an airplane right now, heading straight back to Cortez from New York City. Hopefully we had a great time at our tournament in New York, but unfortunately we won't make it back on time to teach classes tonight, so we decided we're going to record this cool video lesson for you all to do at home so we can continue to train and work hard, and then we'll see you in classes again tomorrow. So for today, I wanted to work on some of our fundamentals as well as just really detail the way that our techniques, our kicks work, and the difference between a front leg and a back leg kick specifically. Now, whether you're a white belt or whether you're a red belt or whether you're a 7th degree black belt or whether you're a grandmaster, everybody always needs to practice their fundamentals, and everybody needs to remember the purpose of why do I do a front leg kick, why do I do a back leg kick, and so on and so forth. So today what we're going to start out doing is we're going to practice our front kick, our side kick, and our round kick. Now our front kick, our side kick, and our round kick, we have many different ways that we can do them, but essentially they boil down to a front leg version of the kick or a back leg version of the kick. Now we can add in a step version of the kick, however those are generally the same as a front leg version with a step in the beginning. So for a front leg kick, generally remember that a front leg kick is a fast kick. It's a snapping kick. It's a kick that moves fast and hits you before you know you got hit. They're powerful kicks, they're strong kicks. However, the strength really lies in our back leg kicks. Our back leg kicks have follow through. They have a little bit less speed, but they have a lot more power, a lot more oomph behind them. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice 5 on each side of your front leg kick as well as your back leg kick. Now I want you to keep targeting in mind, because it's really important where we kick. If I'm trying to kick belly high and I kick knee high, I'm nowhere near the accuracy I should have. So our goal is to find a target and pick a target. Now that target needs to be at least higher than my belt, higher than my waist. I shouldn't be going around kicking things knee height, shin height. We're Taekwondo martial arts, so we want to bring up our kicks just a little bit. So front kick, side kick, round kick. For our front kick, again, remember that my front leg is doing the kick for my front leg version. My back leg is doing the kick for my back leg version. For a front kick, remember, I have 3 steps. I need to chamber, which brings up my knee and makes a table. Then I hinge out and push the ball of my foot forward, pulling my toes back. That's our extension. That's the kick. And then I'm going to re-chamber, doing the exact opposite of what I did when I kicked. And then I set my leg down. So those are the steps for our front kick. Our side kick is a little bit more complicated because my foot that's on the ground, remember, it needs to pivot. That pivot opens up my hips, it helps my balance, it helps my stability, helps my power, it helps to avoid injury, it helps in so many ways. So that pivot for a side kick is imperative. Now when I say pivot, what that means is my supporting leg turns on the ball of the foot being right here, turns on the ball of the foot to face the opposite direction of where my kick is coming. So when I'm doing a side kick, a front leg side kick specifically, I'm going to pick up my leg and pivot and chamber the same time. Now you'll notice my base leg is facing towards the wall now, and my kicking leg is facing towards my target. Now if I'm doing my side kick chamber properly, I'll have a line between my shoulder, my hip, and my heel. And then if I do a side kick, it goes straight out with my heel, hitting with my heel. My toes should dip downwards just a little bit. And then I re-chamber following the same line, and then set my leg back down. So we do a side kick in this way, but in a much faster motion. Now a round kick is kind of similar to a combination of the two. Mainly what a round kick is a front kick where we pivot. If we do the pivot, it's going to change the axis of my front kick. So instead of going this way, now it'll go this way. So I need to pivot to make a good round kick. So I'm going to come up and chamber and pivot on the ball of my foot, and my line for a round kick is my shoulder, my hip, and my knee. Now my knee should be pointing at what I'm kicking. So I'm going to go around, pulling my toes back, hitting with the ball of my foot, similar to the front kick. And then I rechamber, and then I set it down. Now, your assignment is to do 5 front leg front kick, side kick, and round kicks on each side, and 5 back leg front kick, side kick, and round kicks on each side. Again, be careful of where your targeting is, what are you trying to hit, as well as remember that we don't want to practice things low power. We don't want to practice things lackadaisically. We want to move through, we want to snap, we want to hit hard, we want to hit fast. So that is your assignment for these kicks. One last bit of detail on a back leg kick. Say I'm doing a back leg front kick. Again, I always start in my left L stance, my guard up. For a back leg front kick, I don't want to rechamber and set my leg back where I started. That's going to be bad for my balance. When I do a back leg kick, I want to be sure to kick, rechamber, and set it down in front of me or back together. But I don't want to cross my body going backwards because then I won't have good balance. So go ahead and do those and pause the video if you need to. Next up, we're going to move on to a challenging drill. Now this is a challenging drill that'll work our balance as well as work our kicks. And this is called the plus sign drill. Now, the plus sign drill, ideally you do this 10 times on each side. Now, doing a plus sign drill, you might find it's very challenging and you might struggle for your stability. However, that's all right. Try it the best that you can, 10 times on each side, and your goal is to push yourself and get better and better each time you try. So the way a plus sign drill works is, I'll do it on my right side here, is I'm gonna do 4 kicks. And then when I'm doing those 4 kicks, I can't set this leg down once it comes back up. So if I go up and then back down without doing my 4 kicks, it didn't count as one of my plus sign drills. So what I want to do is my back leg's going to come up and I'm going to do a slow front kick, and then I'm going to do a slow back kick straight behind me. And then off to the side of my kicking leg, I'm going to do a slow round kick. I'm going to rechamber it. And then I'm going to go over the shoulder of my kicking leg. I'm going to straighten out my leg, and I'm going to go all the way around for a Bandai Liuchagi, or a reverse round kick. I'm going to set my leg back, or I'm going to rechamber at the very end, set my leg down, and then I can reset. Now, some of those kicks might be kicks we haven't necessarily talked about. However, I want you to aim for the motion, the leg control, and the balance practice. So one more time for a plus sign drill. I go with my back legs, gonna go as slow as I can. Front kick, then I'm gonna go back kick straight behind me. Then I'm gonna go round kick over that way. Then I'm gonna straighten out my leg for a spinning reverse round kick. All the way around, even if I can go all the way, that's even better. And then I land back where I started. So your goal for this is control, slow, and get your chambers properly if you can. So your goal is 10 on each side. Again, if you need to pause the video for a minute, go for it, and then resume it once you've finished. Awesome. Next up, we're going to move on to the white belt pattern, Chunji. Chunji is so important for everyone to know. Again, whether you're a 9th degree Grandmaster or whether you're a white belt or anywhere in between, Chunji is super important. Chunji is the basis of what makes us Taekwondo martial artists. So it's important that our Chunji looks good and we understand that Chunji translates into the rest of Taekwondo. So Chunji, I believe everybody should know Chunji at this point. So practice Chunji at least 3 times by yourself. And when we say practice, that doesn't mean, run through it super duper fast, not paying attention to what you're doing. Pay attention, keep your mind in the game, and do Chunji, and make sure that each time you do Chunji, each technique that you do in the pattern is better than the last time that you did one. Take your time. It shouldn't be a fast thing. It shouldn't be a race. And practice your Chunji 3 times. Go for it. And you can pause the video and resume it again once you're finished. Next up, if you are a yellow belt or above, you also have a different pattern. Yellow belts, you have Dangun. Green stripes, you have Dosan. Green belts have Wanyo, and so on and so forth. Everybody, with the exception of white belts, who just have Chunji, everyone should have another pattern that they know or mostly know at this point. So do the same that you just did with Chunji 3 times on your ranks pattern. Now, if you're a white belt and Chunji is your pattern, feel free to repeat it 3 more times. Or you can skip this step and move on to the next portion of our class. So again, go ahead and pause the video and resume it when you're ready. So the last thing that we're going to do today is we're going to practice our sine waves. Now remember, doing traditional ITF Taekwondo, we move with a sine wave pattern. Sine wave is a geometric graphing style that comes up real importantly in math, if you ever really want to go far in math. However, sine waves are just like waves in the ocean. If you've ever been to the ocean, if you've ever been to the river, the way my instructor likes to explain it is like water flowing over the rocks in a river. It's smooth and it flows without breaking or causing any sort of turbulence. So we want to do that same thing as Taekwondo martial artists. Now, our sine wave gets broken down into 3 different parts. Our step 1, which is our relaxation or our down. And this is where I'm going to relax. And it needs to be a noticeable relaxation. If I go from here to here, nobody can see that I've relaxed. And that means I haven't relaxed enough. So step 1 is to relax and let your body take a moment before we explode. Step 2 is our tight, our chamber. This is where we prepare our techniques. And this is where we get really tight and start firing off our muscles. Step 3 is our extension, our explosion, the full extension of our technique. So say I'm here for my step 2, then step 3 is where I breathe hard, is where I extend my technique, and where I land in my stance. Now, something that can be a common misconception is we do step 1, 2, 3, and then we kind of get out there, and then we kind of adjust again, adding in our own little step 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. However, we want, within those 3 steps, we want to land right where we want to be without any need for adjustment. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice our essentials with our sine wave, and that'll be moving in our basic stances, in our L stances, and in our walking stances. So if I go to my left L stance with my middle guarding block up, what's going to happen is I'm going to practice my sine wave where I just step forward and I'm going to end in my other middle guarding block. But remember, I have to do those 3 steps. So we've got step 1 where I relax, step 2 where I go up in chamber, step 3 where I'm strong and land. Step 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, you'll do this for about the extension of how much area you have. Now I'm getting towards the end of my area. So now I'm going to do the same thing in reverse. So I'll go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we'll go back and forth with that with our L stance. At least until you do 10 on each side. Preferably, you do 20 on each side, 30 on each side. If you can, it shouldn't take all that much time. And it's important to practice this because this is the base of how we get power as Taekwondo practitioners. So practice this with your L stance and then go ahead and resume the video once you've finished that. So lastly, we're going to do the same thing with our walking stance. Again, our walking stance is super important for us as Taekwondo martial artists. You've noticed in most patterns, our walking stances come up a lot, and this is a very strong and sturdy and stable stance. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start my left L stance, and instead of being in my middle guarding block, you'll see that kind of torques my body weirdly. I'm going to have my hands down at my side, kind of like when we go chariot for the start of class. So my hands are going to be to the side, and what's going to happen is I'm going to do that same sine wave motion. So I'm going to relax, tense in chamber, and my hands are going to go up and then out again. Then we go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, again, once you get to that fullest extension, you're going to do the same thing backwards. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And again, do about the same amount as you did for your L stances. And practice, make sure that you get your full sine wave in. Practice landing strong and landing firm to where you don't have to readjust or change anything afterwards. And so practice that, and then go ahead and resume the video once you're done with that. So that was the final part of our Monday, September 29th class. Again, I do apologize for the inconvenience. You know, we live in a small town with a small airport, and we only get certain flights at certain parts of the day. However, we'll be back kicking for normal class again tomorrow, the 30th. And we'll be super excited to share with you how we did in New York, how the experience was, and give you some information. So if you want to come with us next year to it, we'd love to have you there. So keep training. Send me any questions that you might have. And I might be a little bit slow to respond for a little bit, but I will get back to you. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Thanks so much. Have a great night. Bye-bye.